Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's good. We'll be breaking down a couple of definitions today. Uh, yeah, we'll be breaking down some definitions. Um, I'm going to try and rip a hole in a couple of the things that people like to push. So let's get going. Um, for those of you who are in here and seeing me looking across, remember I'm doing Rumble, different screen. Just understand that's what I've been doing, so I can know people be here. Like, welcome everybody. Hope everybody's good. Um, if you've watched me before, you know I like words. Words are important, um, both in the definition and how it's used. Very, very happy to use words. May not be the brightest bulb in the box, but I do the best at what I have. So I wanted to address something. Um, for those of you who have kept track of the request by the left and the woke mob for people to be a certain way and to use a certain word. Um, you're aware of the word acceptance. Before I continue, thank you. Welcome everybody that's in the chat. I am seeing your chat. I am seeing it all. Okay. Jennifer, Unveiled, Pammy, Bar, Lynn, Anna, Arwen, Harvey, Jennifer, Deborah, Gina, all of you. Welcome, 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 welcome. So let me go with this here right here. the word acceptance. So what we'll do first is we'll break it down in the definition of what people say. That way we have an even ground. Everybody knows what is what. I don't want any confusion. I don't want people saying I didn't tell nobody what it was. Acceptance. Here we go. All right. I don't know why my feed is breaking up like that. I couldn't tell you. We had a flash flood here some time ago, yesterday, actually, to be exact. So I'm pretty sure that has something to do with what's going on with the internet. Had some weird weather. Man-made, possibly. Don't know. Acceptance. Let's do this. The quality or state of being accepted and or acceptable. Example, his theories have gained widespread acceptance. Second definition, the act of accepting something or someone, the fact of being accepted or approval. Acceptance of responsibility is the example they gave. 3, by law, and agreeing either expressly or by conduct to the act or offer of another so that a contract is concluded and the parties become legally bound. The act of accepting a time draft or bill or exchange for payment when due, an accepted draft or bill in exchange. Acceptance and sense to. Let's go with that. For acceptance into the club, university has sent me a letter of acceptance, delivered an acceptance speech. So you see where that word can be used. However, in today's society, it's more used along the lines of the act of accepting something or someone. Okay? I want you to keep that in mind. The act of accepting or something or someone. Okay, good. Now that we have that cleared up, that is acceptance. The left and the woke mob have been asking us to be more accepting. They have asked us, why Can't you just accept things? Accept 2020. Accept me for who I am. Accept my body, my choice. Accept my gender. Accept, accept, accept. That's their use of it. Then they also have you with this word. They want you to tolerate, close. I want to get rid of this stupid. No thanks. I don't want to add nothing to nothing. Don't try and sell me nothing, Merriam Webster. The word tolerance, because they like to couple it. Acceptance and tolerance. That's what we need more in society. Acceptance and tolerance. Let's do that. That's definition. Capacity to endure pain or hardship. 2. Sympathy or indulgence for beliefs, practices differing from or conflicting with one's own. The act of allowing something, the allowable deviation from a standard, the range of variation permitted in maintaining a specified dimension in machining a piece. Now, what they use is the first one, the capacity to endure. No, the second one, sympathy or indulgence for beliefs or practices differing from or conflicting with one's own. Right? That's what they like to use. That one right there. Okay. So now we have the two meanings of two different words. Not my definition, the definition. Okay. We have that down? Perfect. Now, let's get into some nitty gritty. Normally, when you hear them, they say, you need to accept, and the right doesn't tolerate people. The left is a party of tolerance. I don't know if they realize that in just the mere fact that you say you don't like people on the right while saying you are the party of tolerance, right away makes you intolerant. The mere fact that you can't tolerate my intolerance makes you intolerant. If you consider me intolerant and you are tolerant, that is a difference of belief or practice. And the idea that you consider yourself tolerant means that you should be indulgent of my beliefs and practices, even when they are conflicting of your own. And when mixed with acceptance, you have to accept something or someone, both me and my belief system. The ironic thing is that you do neither. You are neither accepting or tolerant. In fact, you are the least accepting people and the most intolerant people while promoting tolerance and acceptance. You see, the difference with people who believe, like, say, in God, we are never called to accept everybody. We are never called to just accept. And we are not always called to accept every belief, nor are we called to tolerate it, which is why we never go around saying you need to tolerate stuff and accept anything. No, 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 no. In fact, he legitimately directly tells us to not just accept any and everything. And he directly tells us to not tolerate every and anything. We don't ever say we are the tolerant and accepting group because we know there is a line that we will never accept and never tolerate. And we know exactly where that is. You, on the other hand, will dog us for telling you that we will not tolerate stuff while telling us you are tolerant. In the meantime, you're intolerant of our intolerance. Yeah, yeah, that. Yeah. So you're preaching to us something that you yourself don't practice, that no one on earth really practices at all. Everybody has a line in the sand that they draw. Everyone. Everyone has a line in the sand that they draw by way of tolerance. You are not the party of tolerance. You are the party of hypocrisy because you have no concept of what tolerance and acceptance is. Now, if you were to truly practice acceptance and tolerance, let's imagine a world where you practice both to the max. Nothing would ever piss you off and everything would be golden for you because nobody can do wrong by you because you accept everything and you tolerate everything, which means you can go about doing your agenda without the need for people to comply to your agenda. No one has to bow to your demands because you would have none. You would have a belief, and if people believe it, they believe it. And if they don't believe it, you can tolerate their disbelief. And you can be accepting of their disbelief because that's who you are, tolerant and accepting. But you're lying to yourself to think that you are tolerant and accepting because you do not, by any stretch of it. In fact, you wish death on people that don't agree. You wish death on people you think are intolerant. The whole point of being accepting and tolerant is that you have to be accepting and tolerant. But if you are true to yourself and understand the human nature, you would realize you cannot be that. You can't. You can't be both. Not to the nth degree, you can't. That would mean literally that you have no real convictions. Zero. You would have to have zero convictions to be tolerant of everything. I can tolerate weather. I don't like it. And in that case, I can avoid the weather I don't like. But your definition of tolerance is not putting up with it even when it exists, is you want the eradication of something. That's not tolerance. That's not tolerance. That's intolerance. If I don't like hot weather, but I happen to be in a place where there's hot weather, I will put up or tolerate that weather, but I don't have to like that hot weather. In fact, I will try and make measures so that my body finds a way to be able to help tolerating that weather. Less clothes, AC, breeze, something, shade. I will find ways to mitigate the effect of that on me, but I don't go out trying to change the heat, especially when it's not my heat to change. Say, for instance, I go in someone's house. Their house is a sweltering 80 degrees. It's 70 degrees outside. You like it cool. Their house, they like it hot. This is how the left would approach that if you were to put that in the context of how they approach the world. You need to change the temperature in your house because I'm here. No, but it's my house. I want it at 80 degrees. If you don't like it at 80 degrees because of what you're wearing, you can always change your clothes or ask me to meet you somewhere else, but I'm not going to change my house. And even in then I have the option to meet you there or not. See what their left will want you to do is go out, get your AC changed, change it at a temperature I like, And when you do that, then it'll prove to me that you're okay with me. But nothing says I have to be okay with you, but like at all. There's nothing says I have to agree with your lifestyle. Nothing that says I have to agree with your choices. Nothing. I could try and live in peace with you by letting you do what you got to do. I don't have to like it, nor do I have to come around you, nor do I have to do business with you, nor do I have to do anything with you. I could technically just leave you alone and never have an interaction with you. A whole month. And everywhere you go, it's the flags everywhere, everywhere. TV and yeah, don't even get me started on that. But we're supposed to accept that and be tolerant of that. No, no, we're not. Actually, no, no, we're not. You may want us to be, but no, no, we are not tolerant and we will not accept it. Sorry. No, no. It's not in my DNA, nor is it in my call. I do not have to, and nor will I. Sorry. But you know what else I can't do? I can't force you to change it, and I can't force you to do anything. That's part of tolerance. I can be like, that's him. But you know what you will never do left? You will never leave me to say, oh, that's him. No, you will want me. You will want to force me to agree with you and much less promote that nonsense, even when I disagree with it, which tells me you are not tolerant at all, nor are you accepting of my difference of view. So let's go to something even more poignant, something more dangerous. What about abortion? Okay, let's talk about abortion. My body, my choice. You don't have a concept or say in it because you don't have a uterus. Meanwhile, you can't identify a woman because you don't know what a woman is. But you do know that a woman has a uterus, which tells me you do know what a woman is. But because you want to have your cake and eat it, you're not going to tell me what a woman is. And you think by not telling me what a woman is, no one's going to know, and you can try and pass it off as anything you want, thereby putting men in women's sports, but at the same time trying to protect all women. This is what happens when you don't understand what a line in the sand is. You don't know what the line in the sand is. So here what? If I can't talk about abortion because I don't have a uterus, do not expect men to pass any laws about it. No womb, no uterus, no voice. Also, then you cannot tell men anything about whose child they take care of. But you won't do that because that's not accepting of your point of view. See, you want me to accept your view, and you won't accept mine. You're not accepting, nor are you tolerant. The whole thing is that they want everybody to be the ideal of acceptance and tolerance while they get to move the goalpost whenever they feel like it. Okay, so men don't have a uterus. I want to see the first woman to have a child form within them without the aid of sperm. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do it. I dare you. And I want to see the first so called man that they call man that can have babies have one without a uterus. Because they say men can have babies. I'm wondering how men can have babies if it's a thing that only women can have because only women have uterus and men can't have a say in it because men don't have a uterus. So they can't have a say over abortion, but they can have a baby. And if they do and can have a baby, then they can have an abortion, but they can't say anything about it because they don't have a uterus. Hmm. There is a word for that. There's a word for that, and it's called insanity. Cuckoo, cuckoo. You are crazy. Man can't have an abortion or can't have a say in abortion, but he can have an abortion if he has a baby because men can have baby. Men can have periods. So define a woman. Obviously, defining a woman, if everything you weigh that a man can have is weighed against a woman's ability to have it. You're telling me that there are two genders without telling me there are two genders. Because everything you weigh it against is what one or the other has. You see, you have a pay gap, a gender pay gap, but you always weigh it against what the man makes, not against what the woman who identifies as a man makes, because you're still going to tell her that she can't make it because she's by nature a woman. Then you're going to weigh the abortion thing against a woman because if you do it that way, you have to maintain rights. But at the same time, you can still say a man can have a baby, but remember, a man can't have a say if he has a uterus. If he has a uterus, then he's a woman, not a man in transition. He can't identify any other way because now he has a uterus. The left will always try to make things complicated and crazy, and at the same time, make absolutely no sense. Zero sense. They say that because they have an attack on men. Now you have to understand the kinds of women that push that and the kinds of men that push that. Tell you what they are. Let's start with the women that say that. They had daddy issues. They had men issues when they were growing up. Nobody liked them. They were disliked or they were used a lot. And I don't mean SA. I mean they were run through a lot. They were the promiscuous women. Everybody had them. And it created in them a bitterness towards men by their own doing, but they created a bitterness in them. The men that believe that are not men because they also had daddy issues. He wasn't there. They became a male version of a female, feminine, and not even in the possibly good way. They have zero testosterone in their bodies. They have zero spine to do anything as a man. They have zero concept of what it means to be a man. So they go on the bandwagon that's closest to what they are, female. And by the oddest thing, the most extreme stereotype of a female. Not even a level-headed female version. They go after the most stereotypical, crazy, overly feminine female they can possibly find. Yet still, you can identify as a woman, but you can't tell me what a woman is. So how, if you don't know what it is, can you identify as it? If it is whatever you say it is, it doesn't exist. If whatever you're describing can be anything you want, it's imaginary. It's imaginary. There is no such thing as acceptance. The way the left has it pegged, there is no way that you can really put tolerance on it the way the left has it pegged. You can't because they don't know either one. They don't know either one. Refreshing my Rumble real quick. See if there are any comments there. Making sure. Okay, good. It's all a form of mental disorder. It is why they feel the need to push it on children. You see, if they can put it on children, the malleable minds, the next generation will be more like them. And not that they have a solid foundation of what they want or don't want, and everybody else can make that decision. No, what they want and don't want, Everybody else has to have the exact same view of what they want are lemmings. They don't want people with a real thinking mind. They want lemmings. The problem with lemmings is a lemming only repeats what it sees last. There is no critical thinking in that. Hey, Valita. I want to ask, do you think they made a pact with there is no extraterrestrials. There's no such thing. Don't worry about that. There are no aliens. They made a pact with somebody else, and he's not extraterrestrial. Not extraterrestrial. An entity for sure. An entity for sure. A dark entity for sure. For sure. But it's not aliens. Yes, demons. Yes, the demon himself. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. You don't have to believe that. You just don't. You don't. You don't have to believe that. That's the beauty of freedom of thinking. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to do anything at all. You don't have to follow God. You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in the devil. You don't have to believe in demons. You don't have to believe in extraterrestrials. You don't have to believe in the next person next to you. You don't have to believe in yourself. You don't have to do any of that. But there are pros and cons to everything you do and don't believe. So depending on how you see yourself, you'll believe or not believe. So say, for instance, you don't believe there's a God. You will act accordingly. If you don't believe that there's a devil, you'll believe accordingly and you'll act accordingly. No matter what people show you, if you are hell bent, no pun intended, on believing something, you're going to believe it. Like there are 52 genders, and it's all Ben and Jerry's out there. Insanity to me. But hey, who am I? Who am I? Acceptance. Acceptance. So the next time you hear them say the word acceptance, the act of accepting something or someone, fact of being accepted, approval, they themselves, one, they don't even accept themselves, and two, they have no concept of how to accept anybody that differs from them. You have to agree with them, and they have to agree with you 100%, or there'll be nothing, no acceptance happening here. I want to leave you with one thing here. All right, I'm going to read this for you. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible, but not everything is edifying. Another word that can be interchanged there is everything is acceptable, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible, acceptable, but not everything is edifying. You can do whatever you want. You really can. You can try to fly, jump off a cliff, uh, run in front of a car, kill people. It's all something you can do. Not everything is edifying and not everything is good. If you want to do that, people have created consequences for things like that. Deal with the consequence. Exactly. Not everything is acceptable. I mean, not everything is beneficial. Everything's acceptable. Why does it think that people can commit murder? They've accepted the terms of doing it. It's acceptable. And acceptable not meaning on the right and wrong scale, meaning on the do and can't do scale. You can attempt to fly, and you will for a second if you jump off of something. You won't float. But is it beneficial? No, because you'll end up splatting on the ground. Anyway, if any of you have people in your life that are telling you to be more accepting, the fact of the matter is they have no clue what acceptance really looks like. What they're really telling you is that you have to concur with them to double their viewpoint of how to push it on you. That's not tolerance and that's not acceptance. That's bullying. That's bullying. You are now a dictator. Hmm. So, one more time with a definition so I can leave you with it, because I have that other show coming up here in a bit with Corey. Acceptance, the act of accepting something or someone, the fact of being accepted, approval. The reason people don't want to practice what they preach is to give themselves a way out. They don't want to practice what they preach because they don't want to not have a way out. They have to leave that back door open for their excuses to get themselves out of the pickle that they know they're in. Now, if you accepted change fully, you change it, and right and wrong is definite. Once you've seen it and accepted it, you cannot go back. You've heard people say, "Well, I used to be a right winger, and then I saw the light." Did you really? Or did you realize that the other side allowed you to be a self centered, egotistical, selfish person? And you liked that concept while they were still trying to push that they are the morally superior one. You liked that idea. You liked having people look, look down on people. You liked that idea while seeming very humble. I think that's the reason why you might have gone from the right to the left. Just a thought. But whenever a man doesn't want to change anything, he'll find a way around. Right or wrong. So, with that being the case, I will see you guys tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. In case you're wondering what we're talking about, if you remember that pastor some time ago that in his hand and used it and smeared on this guy's face and it went, if you remember that video, we'll be breaking not just down that, but him and his agenda. Because just like everyone else, they all have the same idea. Happiness, happiness, ho, ho, ho. You think you're Jesus now that you can just try and do what he did. Okay, buddy. Okay. Anyway, we'll see you there tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern. Don't be late on Just Face It or Fair Media on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, follow my Facebook channel to see it or go to Just Face It on YouTube. We'll be on Just Face It on YouTube. We should be back on Too Strong in a couple of weeks, I think. We still have a couple of weeks. And when I tell you they got us good. They know how to drag people. So love you guys. Have a grand rest of the day. Um, and hope to see you guys in the room tonight. And remember, wisdom, true wisdom, and I don't mean fake, woke wisdom, but actual wisdom, real wisdom, calls to you from the street. Please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.